What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video on the Philistnick YouTube channel, and in today's video I'll be going through my AFL 2023 round 15 tips and predictions, and obviously as well as that, like we always do, I'm going to be going back over my round 14 tips from last week and seeing how I went. If you guys haven't already, make sure to leave a like, share and subscribe. That'd be very much appreciated. If you haven't clicked the big red subscribe button down below yet, then now's your time to do so. Also remember to join my tipping comp. Link will be down below in the description and the pinned comment. I'll also leave the code to join the comp down below in the pinned comment and the description as well. So if you want a chance to win a shout out and a sub at the end of the footy season, then click the link down below in the description so you don't miss out. But anyways guys, without no further ado, let's get straight on reviewing my round 14 tips from last week. Alrighty, so as we always do, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be going back over my round 14 tips from last week and seeing how I went. I got a score of 4 out of 6 for round number 14. Obviously, it was a bit of an up and down round, to be honest. It could have been an easy round for some, but for others, they probably struggled, tipping maybe a couple of upsets. But anyways, we'll quickly go back over the games from last week, starting off on the Thursday night. It was between Port Adelaide and Geelong. I tipped Port Adelaide to get up by 9 points in this one, and they got up by 38 points. So, yeah, an even bigger margin than I originally predicted. Obviously, Geelong did have a lead at halftime in this game, but obviously, in the end, Port Adelaide ran over the top of them. That third quarter, man, that was just impressive from Port Adelaide. I think that is now 11 wins in a row. 11. This is getting unbelievable now for Port Adelaide. They're literally doing a Collingwood of last year. But yeah, nonetheless, I did get that tip correct there. Port Adelaide over Geelong. Next game at the Gabba, I tipped the Lions to get over Sydney at the Gabba on the Friday night. And yeah, that definitely did happen. Brisbane just proving the better side over Sydney in this one. Sydney, they were definitely gallant, but Brisbane just ultimately too classy and too strong in the end. Then moving down now to Giants Stadium, I tipped the Dockers to beat the Giants. Never listen to me when I'm tipping the Dockers, because most of the time when I do tip Freo, it doesn't pay off. So, and this was another occasion where that just didn't happen. The Giants, huge result for the Giants in this game. I couldn't believe my eyes, to be honest, when I looked down at what the hell, GWS are up by 60 points. Who saw this coming? I don't know. Shout out to you if you tipped the Giants. Next game of the round, I'm obviously very happy about this one. It was the Tigers getting over the Saints. I am a pretty loyal Tigers fan. I don't really tip against them that often. I've only tipped against them, I think, twice this year. And I just went with a loyal option, and thankfully it paid off again. And yeah, that is a big result there for the Tigers at the MCG. So yeah, got that tip correct there. And now moving down now to the MCG, I tipped Gold Coast over Carlton. Can you believe that? Oh, I'm so stupid. One of the only weeks I tip against Carlton, they finally pull their finger out the Blues and actually get a good win. So hats off to the Blues in this game, and I'm actually kind of happy that the Blues won, to be honest, because it does save Richmond from being overtaken by Gold Coast. If Gold Coast had won that, then I reckon they could have overtaken us on the ladder. And then the final game of round number 14 last week, I tipped the Bulldogs to beat North Melbourne, and that obviously happened. Although, I want to give myself credit for this one, because I actually did say North Melbourne would be competitive in this one, and people were saying me, oh nah, Bulldogs 65 plus, mate. What are you talking about? The Bulldogs are going to absolutely pace them. I'm not that type of guy who likes to toot his own horn, but like, I did say North Melbourne would be competitive, and once again, they were pretty competitive, only losing by 21 points. So for a team who's sitting 17th right now, North, they are pretty bloody competitive, if I'm going to be honest. But yeah, nonetheless, I did tip the Dogs to get over the Roos here in this one. So that brings me to a total of 4 out of 6 for round number 14. Like I said, not a great score, but then again, not a terrible score. But yeah, those were my round 14 tips, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's move on to my round 15 tips. Alrighty, so here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Round number 15. So we kick things off on the Thursday night. Once again, the Thursday night matches are starting to roll around again, which is great to see. But the first game on the Thursday night is between Geelong and Melbourne at GMHBA Stadium at 7:20 bounce down time on the Thursday night, like I said. Now, Geelong, geez, they really butchered an opportunity last week. Like I said, Geelong were actually in front at half-time against Port Adelaide, and they actually looked in the box seat to almost get the victory there, but yeah, unfortunately for them, Port Adelaide stole it in that second half, especially that third quarter. And the D's, well, before the bye last week, they did knock off Collingwood, like we all know, on the King's birthday match. The only team to beat Collingwood in Melbourne this year. I think this makes for a really intriguing matchup, but although I think I'm going to go the D's in this one, I don't know why. I just think from what I've seen at the moment, I can't trust Geelong at the moment, to be honest, but it wouldn't shock me if Geelong came out and actually won this game, especially considering it is Chris Scott's 300th game as coach. So, yeah, it wouldn't shock me if Geelong won, but I think I'm going to go the D's in this one. I just think, the D's, they're playing the better footy of the two, albeit it is at GMHBA Stadium, which is probably one of the toughest grounds to play at in the entire league. I think the D's have got enough in the tank to get this one done here. I'm going to go the D's to win this one by, let's go 14 points. Moving down now to the Friday night matchup between the Saints and the Lions. The Saints, obviously, last week, they were definitely gallant against Richmond last week, but it was disappointing how they couldn't, rally the momentum they had at the end of that third quarter and carry it on into the last quarter, albeit the conditions were pretty tough. And, the Saints, they're not really used to wet weather footy that often, considering they play at Marvel. But, yeah, the Lions, look, I'm going to be honest, I don't think Brisbane have been in great form, to be honest. I think, getting over Sydney only by 16 points. Sydney aren't really anywhere near the top 8. In fact, the ladder says they're 15th. So, yeah, Brisbane, they're not in the best form at the moment, so they'd really like to make a statement here against the Saints. But I'm actually going to back the Lions in. I'm going to tip the Lions in this match. I don't know why. I think Brisbane will win this match, to be honest. I just don't know with St Kilda. I think right now, I think they're a big unknown of where they sit on the ladder, the Saints. They are 5th at the moment, and I think if they win this, the Saints, then they may even overtake the Lions. I'm not sure on percentage, but yeah, I think Brisbane will win this match here at Marvel Stadium, and I think Brisbane, they'll get the job done here in this one by, let's go 23 points. Moving down now to the SCG, and we've got Sydney taking on West Coast. Oh boy, I wonder who's going to win this match. Yeah, Sydney, look, we've been talking about them a lot this year. They have, definitely underachieved after last year, making a grand final. And, yeah, the grand final curse, getting smashed in a grand final has probably happened to the Swans this year. But Sydney as well, they've also been ravaged by injury this year. The McCartan brothers going down. Their defence has really been hurting this year, the Swans. But surely they can't lose to West Coast. Like, I know Sydney do like breaking records, and I know the last time West Coast beat Sydney in Sydney wasn't even this century. Like, it was 1999. Even though Sydney aren't playing the best form at the moment, and I think West Coast might have a sniff, I think Sydney got to win this game, to be honest. There's absolutely no way Sydney can lose to West Coast at home in front of their home crowd. They can't lose to West Coast in front of their home crowd, Sydney. That would just be completely embarrassing. Yeah, I think Sydney, they should be fine in this one. There's not really much to say. West Coast, they're just an abomination. We already know how bad West Coast are. Losing by 120 to Adelaide. And then I think the week before, I think they got pumped as well. So, yeah, I'm going to be tipping the Swans in this match to get the job done here over the Eagles at the SCG. I'll go the Swans in a bit of a big win here. I think the Swans will win this one by 40 plus. I'm going to say 46 points. Moving down now to Optus Stadium, and we've got one of the more intriguing matches of the round. We've got Freo taking on Essendon. Like I said, I have barely been able to tip a Freo game correct this year. Every time I've tipped Freo, I think almost every time I've tipped Freo, they've lost. And pretty much almost every time I tip against the Dockers, they win. So, yeah, I can't really tip the Dockers, to be honest, to save my life. So, yeah, I'm really not sure who to go here. I think if I tip Essendon, I reckon Freo will win. But if I tip Freo, I reckon Essendon might win. So, surely after last week, the Dockers, they've got to respond. I mean, they were so poor last week against GWS, the Dockers. I think this is a pretty even match, to be honest. It's at Optus Stadium, so you'd think the Dockers get a slight advantage. But like I said, I do like to go and upset. So, you know what? I'm going to go with Essendon. It's very hard to go past the Bombers in this match, to be honest. Even at Optus Stadium, I think the Bombers can actually win this game, to be honest. So yeah, I'm going to tip the Bombers to get a win here over the Dockers here at Optus Stadium in this one. And I'm going to tip the Bombers in this one here by, let's go 15 points. Moving down now to the MCG, and we've got Collingwood taking on Adelaide. And straight away, I think I'm going to have to go Collingwood in this match. I'm sorry, Crows fans. You know, I do like tipping the Crows, and I don't mind a bit of a Crows upset. But to be honest, I can't see Adelaide winning this match, to be honest, especially considering it's at the MCG. Although Adelaide almost beat Collingwood last time they played earlier on in the year, that was at the Adelaide Oval, and we know how much better the Crows play at the Adelaide Oval than they do interstate. Look, I just think Collingwood are just the way better side, to be honest, especially considering it's at the MCG. I can't see Adelaide winning, to be honest. I could see it being close, but I can't see Adelaide winning. I just think Collingwood, you know, coming off the bye last week and that loss to Melbourne the week before, will give them a little bit of motivation to, you know, kick them on for this week and, you know, try and get a nice comprehensive victory here for the Pies. I'm going to tip in Collingwood to win this match here over the Crows. I think they should get the job done here, the Pies. And I reckon Collingwood, they'll get the job done here over the Crows at the MCG. Let's go by 26 points. And the final game of round number 15, like I said, it's a shortened round again because it's another week of the bye rounds. We've got Gold Coast taking on Hawthorn at Heritage Bank Stadium. And I think I'm going to be tipping Gold Coast. You know, I can't really see Hawthorn winning this match again. I just think Gold Coast, even though they got smacked last week, I think they are the better side than the Hawks, especially considering Hawthorn will be missing James Sicily for this match. To be honest, as soon as I saw the James Sicily suspension got upheld, I immediately thought, you know, Gold Coast are going to win this match, especially considering it's in Gold Coast. You know, the Gold Coast do play their best footy up there, and I think with Hawthorn's arguably most valuable player, James Sicily, out for this game, I can't see Hawthorn winning this match, to be honest. I actually think Gold Coast will get a pretty comfortable victory in this one. I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty comfortable with Gold Coast in this match. So, yeah, I'm going to be tipping Gold Coast in this match. You know, I could see it being close, but I just think with James Sicily out for Hawthorn, I can't see how Hawthorn win, to be honest. So, I'm going to be tipping Gold Coast to win this one here. Let's go by 36 points. Those were my round 15 tips for the 2023 AFL season. Let's quickly go back over them. I've tipped Gold Coast to get up over Hawthorn at Heritage Bank Stadium. I've tipped Collingwood to get up over Adelaide at the MCG. I've tipped Essendon to beat Freo at Optus Stadium. I've tipped Sydney to beat West Coast at the SCG. I've tipped Brisbane to get up over St Kilda at Marvel Stadium. That's one I think that could go either way, to be honest. And then on the Thursday night, I have tipped Melbourne to get up over Geelong at GMHBA Stadium by 14 points. So those were my round 15 tips, ladies and gentlemen. But before we go, as always, we're going to have a check on the Fearless Nick comp. So this is the Fearless Nick comp, ladies and gentlemen. This is my tipping comp. If you want to join it, link will be down below in the description. But once again, leading the Fearless Nick comp after 14 rounds, we have got Marie T, who is still on top of the ladder. I think currently the favourite to win it all at the moment is Marie T. Got a 5 this week and is on 85 correct tips for the year. We've got Ben P in second. He got a 5 this week and he's on 82 correct tips. We've got Max in third, who got a 5 this week and is on 80 correct tips. We've got Shannon, who's moved up. He was in 5th, I think, last week, or 5th or 6th. Now he's moved up to 4th. He got a 5 this week as well, and he's on 79 correct tips. We've got Darcy T in 5th, who got a 2 this week, and is on 78 correct tips. We've got Shilos, who's back down into 6th, who got a 4 this week as well, and is on 78 correct tips for the year. We've got Claudia in 7th, who got a 5 this week, and is on 76 correct tips. We've got Hugo in 8th, who got a 5 this week and is on 75 correct tips. We've got Cooper L in 9th, who got a 5 this week as well and is on 75 correct tips. Only separated by the margin with Hugo there. We've got Christian in 10th, who got a 4 this week and is on 75 correct tips as well. We've got Rick H in 11th, who got a 5 this week. He's on 74 correct tips. I'm currently in 12th as it stands. Like I said, got a 4 this week, and I'm on 73 correct tips for the year. We've got Samuel D in 13th, who got a 3 this week and is on 69 correct tips. And currently sitting on the bottom of the ladder after 14 rounds, who is only just joined the tipping comp. We've got Louis in 14th, aka last, who got a 3 this week and is on 50 correct tips for the year. So, unfortunately, Louis, it looks like you may be winning the wooden spoon this year, mate. But, you know, oh well, it is what it is. Yeah, that was my tipping comp, ladies and gentlemen, after 14 rounds. Remember to join the tipping comp. Like I said, link will be down below in the description if you want a chance to win a shout out from myself and a sub from myself at the end of the footy season. So yeah, if you finish on top, then you get the shout out from me and the sub if you have a channel, that is. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Those were my round 15 tips. And this is my comp ladder after 14 rounds. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Those were my round 15 tips for the 2023 AFL season. Remember to comment down below your tips for this week down below in the comments. I'd really like to know your fellas' thoughts on this round. Comment down below how many tips you got correct last week. How did you guys go with your tips last week? I'd really like to know down below in the comments. Remember to join my tipping comp. Like I said, link will be down below in the description as it always is. I'll leave the code to join down below as well in the pinned comment and the description down below. So yeah, go join my tipping comp if you haven't already. Remember to leave a like, share and subscribe if you did go on to enjoy today's video. Like I said, every sub really means the world. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in my next video. Cheers!